going to give an overview of everything that is in the chat content engine for ChatGPT. So the first thing I want to say about ChatGPT and Manager to ChangeMaker, as I was being a consultant to organization, what I noticed is that the work of actually creating the materials, putting together script, PowerPoint, pages, way of thinking, mapping the influence, giving kind of the speech that really can convince people. All this work took a lot of time for the consultant that I was helping them. And because my focus is to help middle managers don't have the luxury of time of having an entire weekend to create a PowerPoint to convince their supervisors to support their change. I really wanted to have a way to provide as maximum support without me having to jump in every time. My point was, how can I try to provide that value without me necessarily being present? So what I have done is trying to leverage the power of ChatGPT. Now, the idea is that you actually install what I call customized ChatGPT. What does it mean? I mean, you notice that in the list here in the chat content engine, you have install, because what I am trying to do here is to ask you to install those particular content in your own ChatGPT. When you are actually customizing your own ChatGPT, you have access to ChatGPT customized engine. And I'm gonna now open my ChatGPT so that you see what I am talking about. And I'm gonna go through the process of ChatGPT and how do you create customized engine in ChatGPT. So look at this. We are right now in a regular ChatGPT. Now, I have the paid version of ChatGPT. That means that I pay $10 a month and I have access to ChatGPT. So what does it mean? It means that I can go into this area. You see where I say explore. And if I were to click explore, I can go to the area here on the top that say my ChatGPT. Now look what happened. When we do that, we are actually now in an area where there is an option that say create a GPT. Now, I have already created all this GPT, as you can see. So for example, let's talk about the Atlas one. Let me check another one here. So those are GPT in my own version of ChatGPT that I've already created. So let's talk about Change Charter GPT, which is the one that I show all the time. So Change Charter GPT, if I were to click it, I'm gonna open it and I can use it. But instead, I'm clicking edit because I want to show you what is done, what I have done in the background so that you understand what installing would be like. So look in edit what I'm doing. So edit, open up this page in which there is something here. This is a graphic that I've added. There is the name, which of course you can see I can edit. There's a description of what it is. And then here there are the instructions. Now, what does it mean, instructions? This is telling the GPT what they have to do when you enter information. So those instructions are instructions that I'm asking you to copy and paste, literally, in here. After you do that, I ask you and I give you the instruction about what to enter here. And I add a knowledge document, which is the Change Charter Blueprint, which I ask you to upload here. So once you do all those things in your own ChatGPT, you will have a Change Charter GPT in your own GPT. If I were to go to Change Charter GPT, guess what I have here? I have is telling you what is it for. is to create a critical roadmap that paints a picture of the change you're implementing in great details and without misunderstanding. It's telling you what it does. It generates a professional one-page change charter document. And then here is telling you how it works step by step. The important part, however, is right here, is the instructions. You see what I have provided here are the instructions. Look, the name that you have to enter in that column on name. What is the description? What are the instructions in that area of instruction where you have actually entered that information? And then here you see end of instruction, the conversation starter, and right here the document to upload. Now notice in the label here, this is nothing more than the label, that graphic that I showed you earlier. So as you can see, in this page of ChatGPT, install change charter GPT, you have a description of what it is and the instruction to create your own GPT in your own ChatGPT version. Go. This was, as you can see, the name, the description, the instruction, the conversation starter, the document that I have uploaded. Here is the file that I was telling you earlier. So you see everything is here. If you were to click update, look what happened. The system automatically updates this and it's telling me if I want to update it, if I want to copy link, or maybe I want to invite somebody to use this. But let's say I click view GPT. I am now in the change charter GPT. And if I were to, for example, say, I am working to develop a new software system for my small bank. Okay, so let's see what they have identified. So what this is a document. You see, just entering that piece of information of why we are doing this change, why we are doing it now, right, what kind of transition is required from what behavior to what behavior, what is the behavior to quit, what is the behavior to adopt, and what is a measure that would actually be, a sign of success. So you understand how powerful this is. Just entering one line, I have identified in very specific term an overview of what the change will look like. Now, of course, this is a canned version which has been entered without, from a stupid robot just pushing out to you an output. But right, you will be able to change the whole thing inside and maybe use this document to actually really create the one that you need. It's not using the template only, it's also filling in the template with information that is relevant. Now, of course, ChatGPT is a robot, it does not really know your situation, but at least it provides some kind of ideas. You know what I mean? Is put them in a position to really have something very much applied. I'll give you an example. If I were to ask you, as a change maker, what is the culture of your organization? Wow, that's a very difficult question to answer, isn't it? Because one is not an anthropologist. But we have this iceberg GPT, which is really, really useful to actually identify what cultures do you have and how do you do it. You actually go, and this explains how you do it. There is also a video here. Okay. So you go from something that has happened in your organization that you have observed, something maybe that has happened before, you just describe that, and the system out of that will generate what are it goes from events to patterns to structure to mental models. And it also suggests some way to address those mental models. So it's really, really powerful because, it allows you to really identify leverage points in structures, beliefs, and culture, Right. of the organization. So again, as you can see, even in this case, instructions, about the instructions, some ideas and what event. In this case, there is not a document to upload. It's just instruction. In some other case, there is a document to upload. World Cafe GPT is another powerful one. You want to have a meeting and have a conversation with people about change. But what kind of question are you going to ask? It's really hard, because in my experience, when you have meaty question, the conversation can be really, really powerful. So with the World Cafe GPT, you're able to identify really, really good questions that really move people forward, questions that are very interesting to explore together. With the Rapid Results Plan GPT, when you have change and you have launch change, what normally happens, this is the philosophy of what I've seen that works better, is to actually create change project plans. So in other words, you create teams that independently, they do the work on their own without you necessarily being present. So that means you have to generate a structure of governance of how those teams are gonna work, because you cannot be in every meeting. So this is doing exactly that, is creating a goal for the team, an approach, the milestone for the team, the support that they need, and all put this in real calendar dates, 90 days from now. So you have an actual result at the end with 100-day and actionable roadmap for the team to actually accomplish what you need to accomplish.
Okay.
In the installed change canvas GPT, we are assuming that the change has already happened, and now you need a mechanism of governance that lets you know, is it working? Is this really making the change that is required? With the installed change canvas GPT, what you're doing is you're having kind of you feel a Canva GPT, which is a step-by-step rationale about how the work is making progress. So you keep track of everything that is happening, and you feel this canvas that is giving you kind of in one page the overall situation of where this change stands. Now, I want to go back to the impact GPT, which is the first one that I mentioned at the beginning of our work together, and that is, I'm doing this change. What is the variable that I should be tracking? You remember that question. It could be a lot of work to actually think about what is the specific variable that I need to track as a measure of my success. Impact GPT is making a recommendation in that way. And another one that we talked about last time we met is Faction Map GPT. In Faction Map GPT, you go into the factions of your organization as you are politically trying to bring in change. And again, is asking you what is the key issue, what is the context, and then is providing you automatically factions. Of course, those factions cannot be the real one, but at least is a template for you to fill in so you can map where is your change in terms of politics of your organization.
Right. So when you say that for the Faction Map GPT, though, I think you first said what variable do you track, but the Faction Map actually tells you who are the people, like you said, the stakeholders or the leadership that whomever the people that you're going to look to see, is that variable being manifested? So does a Faction Map also produce that variable that you track?
No, the Faction Map produce a sample faction map, which means it gives you possible way of people to think about your issue. For example, if you're running a software implementation, it's telling you who will be in favor of the implementation, what is important to them, what they want to accomplish. And it will tell you who is against and what is their problem, why they are against the implementation, and it will tell you that there are people on the fence that don't have any opinion. It's not going to tell you who is going to be in those factions. It will be up to you to put those people in those factions, but you will be understanding that those are possible way to think about your change politically. And that will allow you then to do the additional work. Again, I repeat, what ChatGPT does is simply taking a template, taking information, what is your key issue, what is the context, and then is spitting out very, mindlessly, those kind of factions that possibly can be around, the issue. But it's up to you in your understanding to modify the faction map and then make it yours. This is common to all this GPT. None of this GPT produce the final outcome. Those GPT produce let's say, a very useful first draft that you then modify to your purpose. And that's really important to point out.
Okay.
Now, another important thing, so that I touch on all of them, change pathos GPT. When we talk about change, we tend to talk in terms of numbers. But we know that people are not just convinced by number. Many people are convinced by stories. What change pathos GPTs generate a story that appeal to emotions when it comes to change. One thing is to say we have to reduce our turnover. We need to reduce our turnover by 5%. And another is to talk about Mary, who came here to work 6 years ago, and now she resigned because we no longer provide Casual Friday, for example. You know what I mean? So that is what change pathos does, is create that story that you can use to bring stakeholder on your side. Change pitch is instead a pitch. It generates a pitch when you have to talk and convince stakeholder, is creating a pitch so that in 3 minutes, in very little time, very crisp, you are able to provide a reason why people should actually do the change that you suggest.
Okay.
And is doing it, again, in this case, with you just entering your resume. Why? Because one of the things that often make us people follow is whether or not we are credible. And if we are credible, often comes from what we have done before. So you see, those are the 2 documents that you have to upload. One is this document, and one is resume.doc, in which you copy and paste your resume in this document and you upload it. So that when the system creates this pitch, can say, hey, I have done this in 3 companies before I am suggesting it here.
Right. Okay.
Or I have never done it before. So, general perspective of what all the different ChatGPT do and how they actually are helpful to somebody like you who is managing change.